You're listening to Spreaker Web Radio.
Hi guys, I'm live with this episode of the Football Saturday Show. Obviously this being the 8th of September 2012, and I'm joined today by CJ Thompson, who is going to be covering the Scotland-Serbia game for us, aren't you, CJ? And also joined by Scotty Adams. Is he here?
Hey guys.
Who's going to be covering the Bury versus Preston League One game for us today. Obviously, with it being international football recently, there is no Premier League or Championship games in England this weekend, of course. So the highlight will obviously be on the Scotland game and on the lower leagues of England, which suits me just fine. We'll jump straight in. CJ, I believe you've got the Scotland versus Serbia team sheets for us, mate.
Yep, I'll go Scotland first. I won't do the subs because I'm not sure what Markey and Marshall they are, but I'll just do the 11, start 11. Alan McGregor, Alan Hutton, Webster, it's not bad, I think it's difficult, but Paul Dixon, he's getting his debut today from plays for Huddersfield. Guy Caldwell, Stephen Naismith, Snodgrass, Charlie Adam, James Morris, and Kerry Miller.
Not too bad. Did you have the Serbia one?
Still gonna lose though. But the Serbia team is I don't know how to say this. Stojkovic, Ivanovic, Pesovic, Nastasic, Korov, Mijlanovic, Osic, Ninkovic, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Rudric, Lajovic. If anyone got that, couldn't understand what.
At least you had a go.
And the referee is Swedish referee Jonas Eriksson.
Interesting team lineups there from both. Should be a good game, what you've got covering for us today. Scotty, I believe you've got the team sheets for the Bury Preston game.
Yeah, I do. For Bury, you've got Trevor Carson in goal. You've got Phil Picken, Joe Scars, Adam Lockwood, Mark Hughes, Peter Sweeney, David Worrell, Stephen Schumacher, Mark Carrington, Lennell John Lewis, and Mark Cullen. Do you want the subs as well?
If you've got them, mate.
You've got Christian Gibble.
Sorry, no.
It's set to for Sodje, Shane Bryan, Craig Jones, Marcus Marshall, Andre Jones, Latif Alford, Alulu. And for Preston North End, you've got Thorsten Stuckman in goal. You've got Scott Laird, Bill Huntington, Shane Cansdale Sheriff, Bradley Wright, Keith Kane, Nicky Rowe, Jethry, Monik Anna, John Welsh, Akpol Soji, and Stuart Bevan. And
Interesting.
on the bench you've got Steve Simonson, David Buchanan, Joel Beinrom, Chris Beardsley, Jack King, William Hayhurst, and David Amul.
Not bad at all. There's the team lineups for the both games we've got on the coverage today by the panellists. Thanks, guys. I'll just quickly mention, with the highlight being on the lower league, that the Johnstone's Paint Trophy draw was made this morning on both North and South sections, so while we're just waiting for the kick-offs, I'll run through them. Shrewsbury Town versus Crewe Alexandra should be an interesting game. To take on Bury, that should be a great game. Another local-ish game, really. Morecambe taking on Preston North End in the northern section. Walsall versus Port Vale. Doncaster Rovers take on Holders Chesterfield. That should be, again, one of the clashes of the round. York City versus Coventry City in a clash of the cities. Again, should be a nice little game, that. Tough, tricky away tie to Coventry. Notts County have drew Sheffield United in arguably one of the trickiest ties of the round. And the last one in the northern section is Hartlepool taking on Bradford. Again, interesting game. Now down to the southern section. Portsmouth have been handed a game against Wycombe Wanderers at Pompey. Again, interesting game. Oxford Town, after the heroics against Swindon, have been rewarded with another away trip. Cheltenham Town. Torquay United have drew Yeovil Town at home. Plymouth Argyle have drew Aldershot Town at home. Northampton Town, fresh off the giant killing of MK Dons, have been given Colchester. Leyton Orient have drew Barnet. Brentford have drew Crawley Town. And finally, Southend have drew Dagenham and Redbridge. Now those ties are set to be played the week beginning 8th of October. Couple of interesting games, but the biggest derby of that draw is clearly in the northern section, Rochdale and Bury. Obviously a division now separates them two. Both were in League One last season, but Rochdale sadly went down. So that should be interesting to see them two get it on. Because obviously we're not getting treated to that in League, so it's good to see Rochdale getting a derby. Very interesting, and hopefully it'll be a great game for all involved. I'm going to see what I can do to get involved in that, because as some of you may well know, I'll be off to university soon. But that's them games for you. So hopefully some interesting clashes there. We're just on about a minute off kick-off now. Have any of your games started kick-off yet, boys? Anyone with us still?
No.
No. It's interesting. I'm going to just get up every score that I get. Obviously there's nothing that's come as of yet, which is interesting. So we'll just bring you everything we've got. I'm just going to go and try and find the Rochdale lineups for you. What I do know is that Josh Lillis is restored back in net after Ben Smith was given a game midweek, and both Ashley Grimes and Dale Adebola have started up front. But I do know Brian Barry Murphy's been pushed to the bench, obviously giving a first start to the returning and new signing for Rochdale, Bobby Grant. First league start, I should say. So strong lineup from Rochdale today at home against Burton Albion. I'd like to think it's 3 points, but there's nothing certainty in League 2. Nothing certainty in football, as the cliche goes. But let's see what results we can find today. I'm glad I've been able to do this. Obviously, I love the emphasis on the lower league, and it's always good to get a Scotland game covered by a Scotsman. And obviously, we've got Scotty doing an English League One game, which is quite a treat. So we're all very lucky today. I want to thank everyone that's come on to join us. I'm just going to try and maybe organise a treat, because we could have the usual panellist Tom returning. I could get him involved as well. We'll see what we can. But let's just see how that goes. Obviously, we're still waiting for the first goal. I haven't heard anything as of yet in the score centres. But I'll run through dead quick what fixtures we've got for today. In League 1, we've got Brentford, Colchester, Bury, Preston North End, as you know, Crewe Alexandra, Tranmere, Doncaster Rovers and Oldham Athletics been postponed due to international call-ups, but we do have Hartlepool versus Carlisle. Notts County 0-0 with Shrewsbury. Obviously just kicked off though. Scunthorpe and Sheffield United. Swindon versus Leyton Orient. Walsall versus MK Dons. Yeovil Town versus Bournemouth in League 1. Now in League 2 we have Accrington Stanley Bradford. Barnet versus Gillingham. Bristol Rovers versus Aldershot. Morecambe versus Fleetwood. Northampton versus Wimbledon. Oxford versus Exeter. Port Vale versus Rotherham. Rochdale versus Burton Albion. Southend versus Dagenham Redbridge. Torquay versus Plymouth. Wycombe versus Cheltenham. And York City versus Chesterfield. They are your League 2 games of the afternoon. So, I'm just going to see if I can get in, of course, the one and only Tom. Is anything happening so far in Preston, Bury?
No, the game just kicked off.
Let's just see. That's obviously nothing so far. Let's just see if Tom's with us here. Do we have Tom?
Hello.
We certainly do. We certainly do. It's better late than never is definitely the thing. Obviously, just to mention, you're of course covering Oxford Exeter, which is fantastic to have you back. Better late than ever, as always mentioned. First goal of the afternoon, though. Wycombe have taken the lead against Cheltenham for a Keith Lowe own goal. 3 minutes in there. I will mention also that Hereford are 1-up away at Hyde for a Ryan Bowman goal. But obviously, we're obviously kicked off in the games. Tom, is there anything happening at Oxford as of far?
There was an early corner, but it didn't really come to anything. I can give you the team lineups if you want.
That'd be fantastic.
Oxford, Ryan Clark in goal. Back four, Damien Batt, Michael Rains, Jake Wright, Tony Capaldi. Simon Heslop comes back in midfield behind Chapman and Forster Kasky, and Alfie Potter on one wing. Sean Reid returns on the other wing, and Dean Smalley up front. On the bench, Wayne Brown, Peter Levin, Bino. Obviously, for people who don't know who Bino is, James Constable, Tom Craddock, Daniel Boateng, Sean McGinty, and John Paul Bickman. For Exeter, Arthur Krishak, Kevin Amankwa, Pat Baldwin, Danny Coles, Craig Woodman, Liam Sercombe, Scott Bennett, Matt Oakley, Aaron Davis, John O'Flynn, and Jamie Curtin. On the bench, Liam Bielsa, Jordan Moore-Taylor, Jimmy Carnane, Elliot Chamberlain, Reece Evans, Steve Tully, and Tommy Doherty.
Interesting team lineups there. I've just got to say, it looks like CJ's had some form of power cut, so without the Scotland updates just for now. As far as I know, it is 0-0, but we will try and bring you panellist coverage of that as soon as we can. So, sorry for that, guys, but obviously, the return of Tom's big enough news to cover the show. Still looking for the Rochdale lineups for anyone that may have interest, at least. As African Town have taken the lead against Luton for Anthony Wilson. That's conference football, of course, but we've got the time, why not cover it? Let's see. Not having much luck, it seems, sadly. Here we go, let's see team news. See what we can pick out. Anything happening in the Preston Bury game, Sky?
It's been a good game so far. 0-0 with a few. With already there's been a corner and a indirect free kick, but nothing happened from either of those. They just turned out to go back into open play, so not really much.
Fair enough, slow start in one of the coverage games, but a couple of chances as you've just heard. A bit of team news. Like I say, Josh Lillis is back in goal. Dale Adebola is back up front. In terms for Burton Albion, a bit of team news. Andy Corbett, Aaron Webster, and Matt Peterson started the first games midweek, so they could also be back. Jack Dyer and Billy Key were recalled, but Key's away on Northern Ireland duty. Be interesting here to see turns out. Let's keep looking if I can actually give you lineups. But obviously, 0-0 in most of the games. There's only been one goal in the Football League as of far. No, really are struggling for team lineups, it seems, sadly. I have a friend request. Woohoo, go me. Thought I'd announce that live on air. What's happening in Oxford, Tom?
I don't know. I would say it was end to end, but by end to end, I just mean it's both teams clearing it up the pitch as far as they can.
Well,
so just a game of football at the moment. Nothing really going on apart from that.
we do have a goal in the Football League, and it's gone to Port Vale. Port Vale have took the lead against Rotherham for a Lewis Dodds goal. Very interesting and decent start from Port Vale. There's a goal from League Two. That's 2 goals now from League Two so far today. Different teams though, of course. There's nothing as of yet League One goal wise, and nothing in the Scotland game to my knowledge. Of course, there could be changes, there could be other goals going in. This is early on, but as I say, we're still without CJ, which is sad, but we are going to try and get him back when we can. But as far, we've got the Preston Bury game covered for any Preston or Bury fans out there, and of course we have Oxford versus Exeter. The Oxford games are always a covered game in this show now. Just on the back, our Johnson's Paint Trophy midweek, obviously. I know Bury had a bye. Preston also went through, so their 2 teams are in the next round, as I mentioned in the draw earlier. Oxford had somewhat of a giant killing midweek when they beat Swindon 1-0 through an Aaron Forster-Caskey goal, if I'm not mistaken, or was it an Alfie Potter goal? Tom, you be able to clarify
It was
that.
Alfie Potter.
There we go. So yeah, all on the back of midweek wins, the teams that have been covered today. So, very, very interesting to see who's going to come out on top in the leagues. But as of far, like I said, there's no early goals. There's only 2 been scored in League 2 and 2 being scored in the conference. So, we're in a bit of a goal-shy start, but, you know, we can only work with what we're given. Scotland, of course, if we're talking World Cup qualifying, hoping to have a great start against Serbia. Couple of things for that. I know that Nemanja Vidic isn't playing for Serbia because I believe he retired from international football. So that'll only serve to benefit the Scottish. I know there's a debut to, I think it's Ryan Dixon at the back for Scotland. Interesting playing, been a youth, so to speak. Giving a player a new start. We've had a red card in the Dagenham and Redbridge game. Luke Wilkinson for Dagenham and Redbridge has been sent off inside the first 10 minutes. It's always interesting when you get a red card that early. Let's try and find more about that as I get it for you. Let's have a quick gander. I can now bring you team lineups on Rochdale as well. In net for Rochdale is number 1, Josh Lewis. At the back, we've got Matty Pearson, Ryan Edwards, Phil Edwards and Kevin McIntyre. In midfield, we have Andrew Toot, Peter Kavanagh and Jason Kennedy. And leading the front line, we've got Ray Pewterhill, which, again, in my opinion, very much deserves this start. He's played incredibly well off the bench when he's come on. Up front with Bobby Grant and Dale Adebola, which means Ben Smith, Joe Rafferty, Reece Bennett, Brian Barry Murphy, George Donnelly, Ashley Grimes and Craig Curran are all on the bench. Very interesting take there by John Coleman, dropping 2 of his best strikers, bringing in 2 wingers. Obviously a different brand of players, hoping this will take this game, with 2 more attacking wingers and just 1 solid up front man. Well, in the past he's gone for 3 strikers up top, but we'll see how it works out for him. For Burton Albion, this afternoon we have in net Stuart Tomlinson. At the back, Anthony O'Connor, Xander Diamond, former Rochdale player Marcus Holness. I'm sure he received quite a warm welcome on his return to Scotland. Damien McCrory in midfield, Chris Palmer, Robbie Weir, Lee Bell and Jax Maghomer also midfield. And up front, Calvin Zola and Matt Peterson. Sorry, I can really struggling to say his name. I apologise. On the bench, Ross Atkins, Andrew Corbett, Aaron Webster, former Rochdale player Nathan Stanton, I'm sure again, if he ever came on any point of the game, he'd get a warm welcome. He was there for us for quite a few years. Much like Holness, he was at Dale for a few years also. Cleveland Taylor, Justin Richards and Jack Dyer complete the bench for Burton Albion. Now let's see what I can find for you on this red card in Dagenham and Redbridge game. Of course, Dagenham and Redbridge away at Southend today, so the home team getting an even stronger advantage today with that red card early on. Can't find anything as of yet, but I know Luke Wilkinson's a defender for Dagenham and Redbridge, so be interesting to see. Now, what else can I get you? No more goals gone in. We have a goal, sorry. I was about to say no more goals go in. I apologise. We have a goal. Barnet find themselves 1-0 down at home to Gillingham for a Jack Payne goal. Obviously, Barnet are at Scotland last weekend. I went there to watch it live, so I can unfortunately say Barnet are the worst team I've seen at Rochdale for quite some time. They do look favourites to go down. We made them look a lot better than they are. And obviously, again, they're off to a bad start at home this time for a Gillingham away goal. Season's looking bleak for Barnet fans. Luke Williamson, red card. Obviously, he's a 20-year-old young defender. This is only his first appearance. And he's been sent off. Scotty, do we have anything in the Preston-Bury game?
Oh, we've got a goal.
Oh, 1 minute, we've got a goal. Go, go!
A goal for Exeter.
Oh.
No one picked it up. Jamie Currington, he's ran just pretty much straight down the middle and just hit it straight in the corner.
Oxford find
Not
themselves.
much more to say apart from where the hell was the defender.
An early disadvantage for Oxford fans, it seems, as Exeter have taken the lead. Jamie Currington, as you've just heard. Sad times. It gets worse for Barnet fans. Danny Kedwell, just a minute later, has doubled Gillingham's lead. That's them 2-0 down already. And Bristol Rovers have taken the lead against Aldershot through David Clarkson. Now back to what originally was planned. Scotty, do we have anything at Preston-Bury?
It's still 0-0 here at Bury versus Preston. But it's been a good attacking game so far.
So you can make the breakthrough first in that game then. Interesting to see. But yeah, of course, apart from the early goals starting to come in now, but we've not had, to my knowledge, a goal in League One so far. Everything's come from League Two. So League Two showing us how it's done for goals so far. Still 0-0 at Rochdale, just about 15 minutes in now. I don't know whether that's a good sign or a bad sign, because we started off quite well against Barnet and obviously got the early goal last weekend, but I'd really fancy us to beat Burton Albion. Anything but a win today would be a bit of a kick in the teeth for me personally. I don't think Burton Albion are a strong side at all. I think they're there for the taking, personally. But that's just my take, of course. Many people will think differently to me. But, again, we have a goal for anyone that may care. Gap Connors Quarry, or Quay, probably saying that wrong. A 1-1 now with Newton for a Jamie Petrie goal. There you go. We do the unheard ofs on this show today as well, it'd seem. But how have Oxford responded to going 1-0 down then, Tom?
Same as they were playing before, really, but just after it was hoofball, they were just like playing it around nice and calmly. Almost scored a bit earlier, but since then, since the goal, they seem a bit despondent. But they're still trying to play the ball around like they were doing before, but not as effective as they were before.
Well, let's hope they can get the equaliser very quickly. Never been good 1-0 down at home, as I know. Having a quick gander at the Scotland game, I can tell you that it's just to mention that Scotland are having a good opening 10 minutes, but they need to maintain attention on the edge of that box if they want anything out of this game. Apparently, Serbia are obviously always going to keep coming at them. Serbia are a very good side in the international scene. Obviously, as CJ did his best to announce the teams, we've got, having a look at it, you'll recognise some of the names from the Serbian side. You've got the Nazatic, who obviously just signed for City. Kolarov already at City. Tosic, former Man United player. On the bench, you've got Petrovic, Razadov Petrovic. Some people may know, some people may not. But on obviously the main one, Ivanovic, Chelsea player, many people will know. They're the main names for most of you that know. Obviously, a couple of very good players other than that. But looking at the Scotland team, Jordan Rhodes is on the bench for Scotland. Maybe he can come on and do something in this game. That'd be interesting to see. But yeah, as that stands, that's still 0-0 that game. Obviously not much happening there. And as I stand corrected, there's still 0-0 in every single League One game so far this afternoon. If I scan across the Blue Square Premier, Atherton Town are 1-0 up against Luton still. Hereford are 1-0 up against Hyde still. In the only goals of the afternoon game so far. Port Vale have doubled their lead against Rotherham. That's 2-0 to Port Vale now. Very good start for them. Tom Pope getting the second goal there. Port Vale, obviously, as the results stand, that result would take them as high as third place in the table. I should mention there's no Exeter, as things stand, Exeter are now second in the division. But Oxford obviously just behind them as things stand, with goals counting so far, in 5th. So if they can turn that around, they'll go up to 2nd. But we shall see what happens. We shall see, of course, as the games go on. They're only 1-0 down. But another red card, this time in League One, as Michael Doyle has been sent off for serious foul play for Sheffield United. So, of course, a couple of red cards early on this afternoon. Interesting to see. Players losing their heads a little bit on the first 20 minutes of football matches. Putting their teams in trouble this early on. But there's, again, still no goals. I'm going to try over and go over to the Rochdale game, see what I can pick up out of that, see if there's any interesting points to bring you. But there has been a substitution already for Burton, I can only assume due to an injury, as Jack Dyer came on for Chris Palmer. Chris Palmer being the winger for Burton, and Jack Dyer obviously taking his place. I'm going to try and find out if that's been an injury for you, but just before I do, Kidderminster have gone 1-0 up against Southport. One for you possibly here, Tom. Kyle Storer scored for Kidderminster. 17 minutes in. That's
what do you mean Kidderminster are actually winning a match?
Yes, they actually are. I can confirm it's an injury to Chris Palmer that's forced him off this early into the Rochdale game. Sad to see, really, but it happens in football, as I'm quite a witness of myself. Again, taking a look at the Scotland game, has anything changed? Corner, last thing I can see is corner to Scotland. Obviously, we will try and bring your CJ back whenever it is going to be possible. But there's about 2 minutes left of this, broadcast before we'd have to move into a new one. And there's been a goal finally in League One. None other than last season Rochdale player Dean Holden. He scored for Walsall at home to MK Dons. So that's Walsall 1, MK Dons 0. Dean Holden, 17 minutes in. Aldershot have equalised against Bristol Rovers for a Craig Reed goal. 1-1, 18 minutes in there. And Barrow have taken the lead away at Tamworth with a Joseph Jackson goal. 19 minutes in that game. Of course.
Still 0-0 it's still 0-0 in Preston versus Bury, but Bury have had more possession, but it's been equal in regards to shots.
Fair enough. No one on top there. Southend has just gone 1 up against Dagenham and Redbridge, obviously making that man advantage count through a, here we go, Brit Asawan Balonga goal, 18 minutes in. Tom, anything happening in Oxford now?
Not really. Both teams cancelling each other out at the moment.
Of course, not much happening.
Oxford had a penalty appeal about 2 minutes ago, but nothing was given, so...
Unlucky there. Oxford obviously had a chance, and on that note, we will quickly move into the second part of today's show, just as we're running out of time. So far, thanks for anyone listening, and of course, thanks for Tom and Scotty for coming on, doing coverage for us on the games. Obviously, Bury Preston 0-0 and Exeter beating Oxford 1-0 as far. See you on the other side then, guys. Thanks for listening to this first part, and see you very soon. Hi guys, we're back with part 2 of today's episode of the Football Saturday. With this week, as always, we've got Tom Pipson doing the Oxford game for us, and of course we've got Scotty doing Preston Bury for us this week. Any updates since we've been gone off air? Scotty, anything happening in Preston now? There must be some action of some kind.
A pretty simple save there by the Bury keeper. What looked to be a poor shot just inside the box by Monacana. Still 0-0.
And what about Oxford Exeter, Tom?
They're dominating the game now, Oxford, just spreading the ball around, but Exeter have got a lot of people in defence, so not much worth of chances, but a lot of possession.
Fair enough. Hope something can be made of that possession. Couple of goals to tell you about them. Braintree took the lead against Macclesfield for a Brad Quinton penalty, 21 minutes in. Morecambe are 1-0 down to Fleetwood Town. John Parkin, many people may know him from his exploits with Stoke. Cardiff also in the Championship amongst many teams, including Hull. And Port Vale have added a third against Rotherham with a Tom Pope goal. And just in, Atherton Town are now 2-0 up against Luton for a Dan Bradley penalty, 23 minutes in. So Rotherham, my early favourites to win the league, find themselves down 3-0 to Port Vale. They really are struggling at the start of this season. What can be done? Can they sort this out, or are they deemed for another unsuccessful season? Obviously, you'll find out as the season goes on, but do we have another goal to tell you about? Let's see. Do we have a Barnet goal? A rarity. I'll find out that for you as soon as I can. But I think early reports indicate we do have a Barnet goal at home to Gillingham. Obviously, they were 2-0 down before this, but with this goal, that'll give them up somewhere back into the match. Hopefully, for Barnet's sake and Barnet fans, there can be something made of this game, but Gillingham looks strong at the moment. Just to confirm, it was a Barnet goal scored by Jack Saville, 23 minutes in. He's obviously, of course, a centre-back, for those that don't know, so I presume he's come up from the back. Either that or he's gone on a daring run, but we have a goal for Barnet. They've pulled one back against Gillingham. Not many goals, we're still 0-0 in most of today's games, but we've got a few goals to tell you about. There's only been one goal as far in the League 1. Whereas in League 2, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 0-0s, including Rochdale. The others have obviously now got goals in them. In the Blue Square Premier, there's not many goals going in at all. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 0-0s. 7 0-0s in the conference still. So there's quite a lot of shutouts as of far in the lower leagues. Not a good thing to see. Obviously, a lot of people have got various bets on this game. I'll give you a quick update of Scotland and Serbia, as I've got it. Scotland have Serbia pinned inside their own half, interestingly enough. Snodgrass shows great desire to win the ball back and wins a free kick for Scotland. That's the latest I have on that game. Bit of a delay to obviously a live feed, but there we are. We are, as always, if possible, trying to get CJ back. But that doesn't look possible this half, sadly. We are trying, guys. There's been a goal in the conference. Working have took the lead against Nuneaton. Gavin McCallum, 25 minutes in here. 25 minutes in that goal. So we're about halfway through the first half of this afternoon's games. Let's see what else. Macclesfield have equalised against Braintree Town. John Paul Kissock. So there we go. Macclesfield have equalised. Former Everton player, of course, youth academy lad, John Paul Kissock. Now playing his stride for Macclesfield in the Blue Square Conference Premier. Hoping to get straight back into League 2 at first attempt. Macclesfield was always a great away day. I've been there at least 3 times now, following Rochdale, and it's just a good little, nice ground. Small, Oldham.
Exeter have just went 2-0 up.
Do you want to tell us about that, Tom?
Well, there was controversy before it. Kieran Davis saying he was scored, but the ball didn't go over the line. Went out for a corner. Corner came in and Scott Bennett's headed it in.
Not good at all for any Oxford fans, of course. We now have Exeter 2-0 up. Awful, but hopefully there's something to be made of it. Oxford could still come back into this. They're not out of it. They're 2-0 down, but they're not out of it. A goal from Oxford and things will look a lot more brighter. Let's hope they can push on and get that goal. Because as a neutral to Oxford, I'd prefer Oxford than Exeter winning, if I'm quite to be honest. But we shall see what happens in that game. Obviously, Exeter looking to go right back to League One at the first attempt after coming down last season. But yeah, Scott Bennett, to confirm, did get Exeter's second, which is not nice. But sadly, football isn't nice a lot of the times for many fans. Sorry to hear that, Tom. Not many more goals to tell you about at the moment, as I'm going to try and get a quick update on the Rochdale game while I have a breather. But, what do we have? Bobby Grant has a shot, but the keeper saves it. That's 23 minutes in that game. There's about a 5-minute delay. But, no goals there as of far still. But, it's hard to tell who's on top in this game. Obviously, Burton have had an injury 9 minutes in. They've already had to make a substitution. That seems to be it. Nothing much to say.
Preston just had a good shot opportunity blocked. There, Mark Hughes managed to get in the way of the shot, but it definitely looked like a decent shot.
Very sound, lucky to still be at 0-0 there in that game then. Good blocking, it seems, from Mark Hughes.
It is still 0-0, but Preston are the ones who are doing all the attacking now.
Preston asking all the questions, but very added answers so far. Let's see. Let's see if they can change the questions, as of course, famous quote. Let's hope, let's see. Let's see what can be done. Port Vale have scored a fourth against Rotherham. That's Port Vale 4, Rotherham 0. Ashley Vincent has got that goal. Let's see if this can end up a rout today then. Port Vale absolutely destroying Rotherham in the first half an hour here. But stranger things have happened. Indeed, of course. Just waiting upon more goals to tell you about. Doesn't seem to be much happening in the commentary games today. Exeter sadly find themselves 2-0 up away at Oxford. What's that?
There's been a goal at Preston versus Bury.
Do you want to tell us all about it? Do you want to tell us all about it? Go on.
Paul Soji scored from just outside the 6-yard box with a very good header. And Preston now lead 1-0. All their attacking has started to pay off now.
So Preston, of course, are winning Bury 1-0 though from an Akpo Soji goal, as you've just heard. So there we go, there we have it. Preston's dominance has come to fruition as far as they lead away at Bury. Bury, of course, in the relegation zone currently after only collecting 2 points in the first few games. Drawing twice, not won a game yet, and today doesn't look like their day either, it would seem. But there's always chance something else could happen. But still on the hunt for goals in the lower leagues and in the, obviously, the football World Cup qualifying for Rio. There's still 0-0 in the Scotland game there. Obviously a lot of games last night, including, well, I've got some time. I'll say England beating Moldova 5-0 away. It was always going to be a foregone conclusion. 5-0 was about the right score, to be fair. It was good to see England put 5 past the team for the first time since England, of course. England 5, Germany 1. It was the last time we put 5 in the back of an opponent's net at international level. But shows how things have changed. I believe we've got a goal for Rotherham away at Port Vale. They finally attacked back. A bit late when you're 4-0 down, but still. But I will bring you the scorer of that goal as soon as I have it myself. But Tom, anything new in the Oxford game?
Not really. Adam Chapman had a shot not long ago, which was so far wide. But apart from that, it's still Exeter looking like they're probably going to grab a third. Oxford, obviously, they're just not doing anything. Simon Neslop's had an absolute shocker of a match, but I've always said that he's probably not the right player for Oxford and he shouldn't be in the team. So he's prime candidate to be replaced at half time, but apart from that, nothing really.
Sounds sad. Very sad. I'd love Oxford to come back and win that. Rotherham's goal in the 4-1 was of course scored by Michael O'Connor 31 minutes in. To get confirmation on that goal for you all. But still, we've got 0-0 in most of the games. But anyway, as I was saying, at international level, of course, there was a few more international games last night. I'll just bring you the home nations results from last night. But England, of course, putting 5 past Moldova in Group 8, with Poland Montenegro 2-2 being the other game in that group. In Wales's group, Croatia beat Macedonia 1-0 and Wales sadly fell to a 2-0 loss at home to Belgium. Belgium were obviously a very good side with such good players as Hazard and company, just to name 2 in the Premier League, but they've of course got quite a few more than that. Alex Witsel, Stephen Defoe, etc, etc, all good players. So Belgium were a very solid international side. England faced them not so long ago. Russia beat Northern Ireland 2-0 sadly, and the other scores in that was group being Azerbaijan 1, Israel 1, Luxembourg 1, Portugal 2. That's in Group 6. In Group 3, I'll mention Germany beat Faroe Islands 3-0, and Republic of Ireland beat Kazakhstan 2-1. So possibly a nice away result there for Republic of Ireland away in Kazakhstan. Good to get 3 points off the mark. In Group 2, we had Malta losing narrowly to Armenia 1-0, and we had Bulgaria 2, Italy 2, the other result there. Italy struggling after, obviously, finalists of the year 2012. They are struggling as far. 2-2, and obviously lost to England recently in a friendly. In Group 4, Estonia 0, Romania 2. Another 5-0 away as Hungary beat Andorra 5-0. Netherlands beat Turkey comfortably 2-0 after their awful performance Euro 2012. They're really going to want to push on and qualify strongly for Rio 2014, of course, the World Cup. Been a red card. Matt Green's been sent off for Mansfield. I'll get more on that when I have it, but I'll carry on with the rest of these scores. In Group 5, Albania beat Cyprus 3-1. Switzerland beat Slovenia 2-0 away. Iceland beat Norway 2-0 at home. So a couple of normal-ish results there. No shocks there, really, except Cyprus possibly losing to Albania. Group 7, we have a storming result. Bosnia beat Liechtenstein 8-1 away. It's an incredible result for this level of qualification. But the other results in that group being Latvia 1, Greece 2, Lithuania 1, Slovakia 1. And in Group 9, final group that were playing last night, we had Georgia beating Belarus 1-0. And of course, Finland losing
fans
now.
aren't happy at the moment. It's still only 2-0. But Chapman played Sean Riggin down the wing. He came inside. The flag was so late, but he got tripped in the box. Obviously, everyone claimed a penalty. Referee would have gave the penalty, but then he saw the linesman's flag.
Changed his mind, of course. But what shall I will go on a couple of things that have happened. Wrexham have taken the lead away at Cambridge for an Andrew Morrell goal. 34 minutes in there. Bournemouth have taken lead away at Yeovil. Richard Hughes scoring that one. And Cheltenham have equalised against Wycombe through none other than that man once again, Sean Harrod, converting a penalty 38 minutes in. There are your updates on your scores. Just to mention, France did beat Finland 1-0 last night. That's the last result of last night. Just gone through all them for you dead quick, wide of space. Obviously we had a little update on the Oxford game there from Tom. Oxford have to possibly get to half time on 2-0 here and get a tell-in now by much rumoured to be outbound Chris Wilder. Hopefully he can sort them out and mount a comeback in the second half. Don't like a good second half comeback. It'd be great to see from a neutral today, as I've got one eye on Oxford. Hyde have equalised against Hereford through Scott Spencer, former Everton Youth Academy player, and has spent some time at Rochdale and Southend in the Football League. 39 minutes through that game is, that goal's come. Back onto today anyway, after talking about all last night's. Get you an update on the Scotland games, what I can find for you. No goals still to my knowledge. But we've had a booking for Serbia. That was 30 minutes through, and that's Nastadic. Apologise for poor pronunciation there. You got booked for unsportsmanship play. Apparently there's been quite a lot of free kicks in the Scotland-Serbia game, so it sounds quite physical. But as far, still no goals, that's 0-0. There's been a goal in League 2 though, as Chesterfield have took the lead. Do we have something there, sorry? Possibly not. Chesterfield.
No.
Go on. Still 1-0.
Still 1-0 Preston, but then a nice save there from Stuckman off what could have been a decent goal from Hughes' header. So Berry finally managing to get another shot.
There we go then. Just to finish off, Sam Hurd's the one scored for Chesterfield. Southend have doubled the lead again. It's that man again, just to make it things difficult. Britt Asamoah Balonga, 37 minutes in. That's 2-0 Southend against the 10 men of Dagenham and Redbridge. So as expected so far. We're about 5 minutes away from half time here. The goal's slowly starting to come in. Still nothing major to tell you about though. Obviously, 1-0 to Preston in one of our commentary games of the day, and 2-0 to Exeter in the other, sadly. So Preston winning's going my way, but Oxford losing certainly isn't. But still time to change that. Obviously, we're not even at half time yet. There's plenty of time for goals galore to still happen. We've still got what could happen in the second half. We could still have some late goals in the first half, possibly. All still to play for this early on in the games. But obviously, football's football for a reason. There's just no predictable results out there, it seems. Let me go and try and have an update on Rochdale for you. Not much seems to be happening just before half time. Couple of free kicks being taken in quick concession in that game, it seems. But a lot of fouls, it'd seem, but can't really tell who's on top there. There's been a goal though. Gillingham have retook a 2-goal lead against Barnet, as Dion Burton scored for them. That's now Barnet 1, Gillingham 3. Dion Burton adding the third of the afternoon there. Hartlepool have took the lead against Carlisle. I'll get goal scorer confirmed when I can for you, but there's been a goal in that game to tell you about. So that'll obviously impact League 1 quite so. Anything new happening down at Oxford then, Tom?
No, not really. It's both sets of fans are really quiet. Well, obviously, you'd expect the Oxford fans to be quiet, apart from a few slating at the referee. Oxford in possession with the three midfielders, Forster Kasky, and they've won a corner. Corner to Oxford.
hopefully it makes something in this corner.
Just waiting for them to take it.
Yeah, of course, we'll get update on that the minute it's been taken, see if anything can happen from it. The goal scorer for Hartlepool was James Poole, and York have equalised at home to Chesterfield with Michael Coulson. 40 minutes
Nothing's coming in the corner. Forster Caskey put it in, and there were 3 Exeter defenders closer than any Oxford player whatsoever. And it's still 2-0.
Wilder's got to earn his money at half time.
Free kick here to Berry a few minutes ago, but often a decent shot from the wing from a free kick, but was off target, so nothing happened. Still 1-0 Preston, but Berry is starting to get more attacking now.
What they've got to do if they want anything out of this game. Got to attack now and attack with promise. But Gateshead have scored against Dartford. They lead 1-0. Mickey Cummins 40 minutes in. And Mansfield have converted a penalty away to Ecclesfield United. That's Lewis Briscoe with that penalty 42 minutes in. So we are slowly approaching half time in the day's afternoon games. 3 o'clock obviously. Craig Westcar, I apologise, I'm struggling today, has scored for Chesterfield. That's York 1, Chesterfield 2. Craig Westcar, 41 minutes in. Chesterfield have retaken the lead just a minute after York equalised. Unlucky times for York City fans, of course. Chesterfield looking to again bounce straight back up this season after coming down last. The only time we'll again tell. Couple of teams in League 2 vying to go up this season. It's quite a okay league in terms of strength of teams. Lincoln City have taken the lead away at AFC Telford. Valadane Oliver has scored that 43 minutes through. So obviously Lincoln find themselves 1-0 up away at Telford. Good result for them that would be if they can hold on for 3 points there. We're nearly on to the half times. I'll just give a quick overview. Tamworth have just equalised against Barrow. Adam Cunnington penalty. I'll go again, look at the Scotland Serbia game.
That sums up Oxford first off.
Go on.
Smalley went to have a shot, and he's had the shot. It's hit his own goal, and it was going to go out for a goal kick anyway, but he was off. Alfie Potter was offside anyway when it hit him, which just sums up the first half really.
Sounds painful again. Half time slowly starting to come out. Torquay Plymouth, nothing's happened in that game first half. Obviously that's 0-0 now, half time. Hyde Hereford is 1-1 half time. Accrington Stanley 0, Bradford 0 half time. Just to repeat, Adam Cunnington penalty for Tamworth is equaliser. Notts County Shrewsbury 0-0 half time. Nothing of that game. Obviously we've got Marvin's at that game today live. So we should have some reports after that and see if I can see what's going on at that game at half time for you. I'll try and get a report from obviously our Man Live the game. But that's 0-0 half time as it stands. Game slowly starting to.
Still 1-0 here, but Berry have had 2 good chances. Did the Schumacher one, and then they had a Lockwood one, but they just can't hit the target. So, whereas when Preston get their opportunities, they're able to at least make Berry answer questions, whereas Berry are just simply missing the target. And another free kick here for Preston, but it's just an open play one, so yeah, it's looking like it's going to be 1-0 here going into half time.
Okay. Fair enough. I will tell you, Scotland-Serbia is 0-0 now at half-time. Connors Quay are 2-1 up at Newton. Jamie Petrie again. Workington Corby's 1-1. Macclesfield Braintree is 1-1. These are half-times now, gentlemen. Atherton Town 2-0 up against Luton. Hartlepool 1-0 at Carlisle. That's again a half-time score. About 5 minutes now we are coming up to half-time. But, Tom, are we close to half-time in your game?
Sorry, Oxford are on the attack. Rigg crossed the ball in. It's close to half-time now. Another chance goes begging. Rigg running down the wing, manages to get a ball in, but Oxford are just not really committing anyone forward. And as they're not committing anyone forward, every time a cross goes in the box, it's 3 extra players to every 1 Oxford player. And that's half time, 2-0 down.
It is indeed. Over half time, Swindon 0, Leyton Orient 0, Crewe 0, Tranmere 0, Tamworth 1, Barrow 1, Gateshead 1, Dartford 0, Wickham 1, Cheltenham 1, Maidenhead 1, Truro City 0. More half times for you there. Dagenham and Redbridge have pulled one back. 10 men of Dagenham Red have scored. Dwight Gale just before half time. 45 minutes that was on, of course. Cambridge United are losing 1-0 to Wrexham. That's a half time score. Northampton 0, AFC Wimbledon 0. Again, a half-time score. Morecambe 0, Fleetwood Town 1, half-time score. AFC Telford 0, Lincoln City 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Aldershot 1, Grimsby 0, Forest Green 0, Port Vale 4, Rotherham 1, Southend Dagenham Redbridge is now at 2-1. That's a half-time score now. Just before half-time, the goal. Brentford 0, Colchester 0, York 1, Chesterfield 2, Rochdale 0, Burton Albion 0 is your half-time score from Scotland. No goals in the first half. Both teams seem to be quite evenly balanced. Let's hope Rochdale can get a goal in this second half. A nice 3 points today would see us shoot up the table a little bit. Currently we've got 1 win, 2 draws and 1 loss. Let's build upon that now. Interesting times to be a Rochdale fan, of course. Dover 0, Hazen Yedding 0, Kidderminster 1, Southport 0. Scunthorpe 0, Sheffield United 0. Working 2, Nuneaton 0. Again, these half-times starting to come in now. We have a couple of minutes left, so I'm going to bring you all the half-times before we go on a 10-minute break.
It's Bury 0, Preston North End 1 at half-time.
There we go, guys. Thank you very much, Scotty, as always. Working 2, Nuneaton 0, I didn't mention. Barnet 1, Gillingham 3. It's a half-time score also. Again, they're starting to come in now. But the big international game I did mention before is 0-0, Scotland-Serbia. Again, these lower league games are coming in now. Quite a lot of 0-0s we're talking about. Yeovil 0, Bournemouth 1 is now a half-time score. Bournemouth taking the lead there well. Obviously, Yeovil have started this season quite well, but so have Bournemouth. Droylsden 1, Soho Motors 3. Salisbury 0, Eastbourne Borough 0. Ebbsfleet 0, Mansfield 1. Again, we're waiting on half times, but and then obviously we'll be on our 10-minute break at half time before we come back with the second half for you all. For anyone that may be listening, thanks again. Can't do it without you. And of course, as always, thanks to Tom for coming on, doing the Oxford game. And so far again, thanks to Scotty coming on doing the Preston Bury game for us. The half times in League 1. Brentford 0, Colchester 0, obviously Bury 0, Preston 1, Crewe 0, Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1, Carlisle 0, Notts County 0, Shrewsbury 0, Scunthorpe 0, Sheffield United 0, Swindon 0, Leyton Orient 0. Latest is Walsall 1, MK Dons 0, and the final half time is Yeovil 0, Bournemouth 1. They're your League 1 half times, and Walsall MK Dons is now half time. That's all, everything half time in League 1 now. See if I can bring you League 2 just before. Bromley 1, Bath City 0 is a half time. So if I can just quickly bring you League 2's half times just before we go off for the break. Let's see, do we have time? But so we've got Accrington Stanley 0, Bradford 0. Bristol Rovers 1, Aldershot 1, Morecambe 0, Fleetwood Town 1, Northampton Town 0, IFC Wimbledon 0, Oxford United 0, Exeter City 2, sadly. Port Vale 4, Rotherham 1, Rochdale 0, Burton Albion 0, Southend 2, Dagenham Redbridge 1, Torquay United 0, Plymouth Argyle 0, Wickham 1, Cheltenham 1, York City 1, Chesterfield 2. and the other game is Barnet 1, Gillingham 3. I think that's half time now. And they're all your half times in League 1 and 2 and the Scotland-Serbia game. And that's the end of the second part of today's show, guys. Again, thanks for listening as always. We'll be on a 10-minute break and we'll be back with the second half. Thanks, guys. Hi, guys, and we're back live with the third part of today's show, the Football Saturday show, obviously. We're just coming out of half time now. No more goals to tell you about, though, but I will mention, I believe Scotty had something to tell us about the first half in terms of bookings. Scotty, are you there?
Yeah, Keith King got a yellow card for Preston in what has been a physical game so far in regards to how both teams are going about it.
Right, that's fine. Just to mention, Tom, are you there? Have you got anything for the Oxford first half for us? Closing remarks?
Oxford were really poor in the first half. The problem was, defending, Oxford have never looked that strong. There's so many injuries at the back that there's not really much they can do about it. It's just holding on. But going forward, usually when a ball comes in the box, there'll be about 3 or 4 people attacking the ball and a couple on the edge. But for this game, it's just been every time Rick or Alfie put a ball in, there's 3 extra defenders sitting there and they're not really having to do anything because there's no one attacking the ball.
Goals to tell you about. We're still, of course, on still no goals, but what I can say is, first of all, thanks to again anyone that's listening, but I will say we do have an American listener today, so it's what you call branching out to other countries. Of course, we've got Scotty from Australia on a panellist report today, but we now have an American listener. So big thanks to Eric out there for listening. Obviously, it's great to branch out into other countries. One person's always great, never mind a load. But again, we had 5 listeners in the first part of today and 4 for the second. So the averages are getting better. So again, it's just all thanks to you guys. Thanks to Tom and Scotty again, because again, can't do it without my panellists. Tom as always, and Scotty making his second appearance. But go on, Scotty. Have you got something to tell us?
There's been a sub here in Preston versus Bury.
Go on, tell us about that.
Byram has come on. Byram has come on for Welsh, and it's a purely tactical decision. So what Preston are planning in the second half, which has just started.
There we are. We have a sub. Still nothing to tell you about. But Tom, have you got anything?
I can tell you that Hamilton and Button are 1-2 at the Formula 1.
Yeah, that's sport. I did watch the qualifying myself. So, did you watch qualifying, Tom?
No, I didn't manage to see it. I've just heard it on the radio.
Yeah, well, I watched qualifying myself. So anyone F1 fans out there will branch out in different sports, seeing as how. Nothing like sport in general. I don't know if anyone is an F1 fan, but I did watch the qualifying for Monza. And yes, we did have a McLaren 1-2 at the top with Hamilton first and Button second in qualifying. Massa got third, which is fantastic for him. It's first time he's out-qualified Alonso since Korean GP last year. But obviously we had the rest of being 4th fastest, but he got a 5 grid penalty, taking him down to 9th. But interestingly enough, we had Schumacher then 4th, taking the rest of the spot, followed by Vettel 5th, followed by the other Mercedes 6th, which is not Hulkenberg, but the other German. I apologise, I forgot his name. Rosberg is the one. Thank you, Tom. Fantastic as always. Rosberg was 7th. 8th we had Kobayashi. 9th we've got the rest after the thing. And of course, 10th we have Fernando Alonso. There's your top 10 on the F1, giving you a bit of different sports satire for a change. But there's been a couple of goals I'll just mention. Danny Wright scored for Wrexham. Wrexham 2-0 up against Cambridge. 48 minutes in there. But Tom, have you got anything in this second half so far for Oxford?
Nothing really. They're just talking about odds for Jamie Kieran being top scorer in the league, which I don't fancy. It's just been a really slow start to the half, so there's not much to really say. A couple of long balls by Oxford that have caused a bit of problems. The style of play from Oxford's changed a bit in the second half. They're looking more just hitting it up the pitch rather than anything, but it's still 2-0.
There we go. Not many more goals for anyone that may have an interest. Airbus UK have pulled one back against Bangor City. So that's 3-2.
Still 1-0 here, but Berry had another shot which was off target, but looked decent.
There we go. Bury seems to be coming back into this second half strong. We've got Working 3-0 up against Nuneaton for a Bradley Bubb goal, 48 minutes in. So again, a very slow start, just like the first half. Not many more goals going in. This weekend seems to be a low scoring weekend, but there's still about 30-40 minutes left, 40 in most games of course, for goals to bang in back of that net, and we'll give them you as soon as we have them as always. But just going around the grounds again. Hyde have took the lead against Hereford. That's 2-1. Alex Brown, 52 minutes in there. So there we go. Hyde from Manchester have retook the lead against Hereford. But still searching around. I'll give you an update on the Scotland-Serbia game. Obviously a big international World Cup qualifying game of the afternoon. Imagine that, seeing the Scottish at the World Cup again. That'd be something to be proud of. But just before I do give you that, I will say John Parkin scored a second away at Morecambe for Fleetwood. That's Fleetwood 2, Morecambe 0. John Parkin, 50 minutes in.
Oxford have got a penalty.
Here we go, Tom.
Damien Batt was running down. He went down under a challenge. He thought he was going to get booked for diving, but the referee didn't point to the penalty spot. But this needs to be scored. This is the lifeline. Forster Kaski's taken, I think.
Obviously, we'll bring that on. Waiting here for the penalty.
There we go, 2-1. Forster Kaski scored.
Is that 2-1 then, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lifeline. But no one knew. Everyone thought he was going to book Damien Batt for diving because he didn't point to the spot or anything. He just walked over to where it happened. So, but he gave the penalty and it's been taken and they scored it. That's 2-1.
Fair enough, fair enough. But Oxford have got that lifeline they needed, and Oxford can come back in this game. I am strongly under the belief they can do it. Let's see what else I can find for you. Back on Scotland-Serbia. Serbia had a lovely build-up attack with Lazovic down the left, but Hutton chases back, slide tackle, and gives away a free kick close to the corner flag. Again, there's been another booking this time for Scotland, which is Robert Snodgrass. So that's still 0-0, but again, there's starting to liven up a little bit again. Seems a very close and interesting game. So, Sky?
Just on the Oxford one, just confirming what you wrote on the Skype chat. It is indeed 3-1 Exeter, because Puritan apparently scored in the 50th minute.
There we go. What
I don't
Tom?
know if Tom saw that.
Tom, what do we have from you on that? Do we have anything?
There's a free kick. No, nothing comforted. Sorry, I was waiting for him to take it. Adam Chapman had a free kick about 8 yards from the byline.
Fair enough. There's contrasting reports, Tom, that it is 3-1 to Exeter. We need to clear that up.
Yeah, it is 3-1. Sorry, I didn't hear the third goal going, so...
That's okay.
I either didn't hear it or I was that angry that I kind of forgot to say anything.
It's okay, just as long as we have the correct scoreline.
Chris, just bad news for you. Burton Albion scored in the 51st minute. It is 1-0 Burton.
I was avoiding that score, but yeah, cannot avoid bringing it to you. Scotty's done it for me, I appreciate it. We do have a goal for Burton Albion. Rochdale once again find themselves 1-0 down at home. So a Matthew Peterson goal, 52 minutes in. But there's time yet. Rochdale can still come back and they can score too. I have faith in the boys and I will get behind them till the last minute of this game. 3 points is there to be taken and it is going to be taken in my opinion. So they score. It happens in football. Come on Rochdale is all I have to say to that response. But yeah, thanks again Scotty for bringing us that scoreline. I was dreading doing it. But again, going around the grounds, I'll try and get you what happened in the build-up to that goal once I can. But the main thing is, sadly, they have scored. That is 1-0 Burton Albion, not what I wanted to be seeing. So, seems mine and Tom's teams are both having a bad day at the office today. Both losing at home. Not a good day. The comeback is indeed on from Rotherham. That's now 4-2, I do believe, to Port Vale. But Rotherham have now got a second. And that's been a Daniel Nardiello penalty. 54 minutes through that game. So Rotherham are staging a comeback, if that gives you any faith whatsoever for any of your teams out there. But again, I'm going to look for the internationals. But just before I do that, I will give you what I promised, which is the update on the Rochdale. The goals apparently scored, but neither team could gain control of the match, but Burton Albion were on top at that time. So that's, I believe, how the goal has come, through steady pressure. Woking have scored a fourth, Bradley Bubb, again, 55 minutes in against Nuneaton, that's 4-0 to Woking. Cambridge United find themselves 3-0 down to Wrexham, Andrew Morrell again, 56 minutes in. And they've got a goal for Notts County. Notts County have finally taken the lead against Shrewsbury. Francois Zoko, 57 minutes in. What an inspired piece of business he's looked so far. Banging quite a few goals in. So interesting piece of acquisition from Ronnie Moore there. Not Tranmere, sorry. I was talking about Tranmere. Not from Ronnie Moore, I do apologise. I'm getting my clubs mixed up. Notts County are 1-0 up though, is the most important thing. Through Francis Zoko goal. Good start to the season by them. But
And it's still 1-0 at Bury versus Preston.
there we go. Don't even need to ask these days. Getting update reports, fantastic. Can Bury get back into this, do we think, Scotty?
Yeah, no, still 1-0. It's just been a slow start to the second half, but both teams definitely looking like they want to. The floodgates could easily open soon.
Well, there we go. I will say Port Talbot are now 3-0 up against Aberystwyth for a Matty Crowell penalty. That's 87 minutes through that game. But I do have a match report from Marvin, who's obviously at the Notts County game, and he does say that it's total domination from County to go along with that goal they've just scored. So County do look good value for the lead from what I hear from the game itself. But there we do. Here we go, as always. I'll bring a bit of debate to the show, mix it up a little bit because they're not getting many goals. But before I do, Bristol Rovers are now 2-1 down to Aldershot. Alex Rodman scored for Aldershot. We have a question out there from obviously one of our American listeners today, which I shouted out earlier. Eric asks, in terms of the Queen, quite a lot of 0-0s this afternoon. Do we think that's more because the teams are both that good quality they can't score against each other? Or do we think that the games are just quite poor in the lower leagues this afternoon? Scotty, I'll go to you first. Tom, have you got something for us? You answering that?
There's nothing really at the Oxford game, so I'll answer that. I don't think loads of teams at lower league play a certain way of football, and when the problem with lower league is obviously you can scout other teams, but Premier League teams, they'll have a plan A and a plan B, but teams like Oxford obviously concentrate on their plan A, which is to pass the ball around.
Yeah.
So obviously you're scouting other teams at the same time. If you know how they play, then obviously there's going to be a lot of goalless draws in certain games because obviously teams know how each other play. Just like to point out as well that League One seems to be the really boring league today.
Yeah, League
Two seems there's goals galore in quite a few games in League Two.
Yeah, I will say just quickly though, Shrewsbury were given a penalty from the live update from Marvin, and they have just scored that. That's Matthew Richards' penalty 61 minutes in. Shrewsbury have equalised just after County took the lead. But yes, Tom just very, very well put said, League 2 seems to be the goal rush this afternoon. What does that say about League 1? Does it say there's better football this afternoon?
There doesn't seem to be many high games that really stand. Like League 2's got a few games that stand out. Ironically, one of them's the 0-0 one, which is Torquay Plymouth. But obviously you've got Oxford Exeter, which was second versus third going into the day. I don't know where Port Vale have come from, but 4-2, nothing to laugh at. Gillingham are winning quite comfortably away at Barnet, which you'd probably expect. But League One, like, there's a couple of games that are just, they just scream. And
That's very
I don't know, I'd explain them against Leyton Orient. Oh, there's a goal. 3-2. Alfie Potter scored.
Just as we were talking about nil-nils, we've got goals flying in at speed here. Obviously, Tom, do you want to tell us quickly about that Oxford goal?
Yeah, ball came in, it was headed back across and Alfie Potter, well, he couldn't really miss. It's 3-2, game's on.
Game's indeed on. In League 1, Scunthorpe have took the lead against Sheffield United, and Leyton Orient have took the lead against Swindon. Good news for you, Tom, at last. Through a Leon Clark goal for Scunthorpe, 60 minutes. Scotty, have you got something for us?
It's still 1-0 at Bury versus Preston, but there was another booking. Joe Scars was booked, and then there was also a sub. Amul come on for Mokaina.
Interesting name though. But Shrewsbury from absolutely nowhere have scored a screamer, I've heard, and made it 2-1 Shrewsbury against Notts County. Jermaine Grandison, 62 minutes through there. Ecclesfield have scored against Mansfield, that's 2-1, Phil Walsh. Northampton have took the lead against AFC Wimbledon 60 minutes in for an Alex Nichols goal. And
Oxford have got a corner, they're really taking the game to Exeter.
We'll stay with Tom while we just get the answer on this corner.
It's been a lot more positive since the first goal from Oxford. All over them at the moment. Just a bit of pinball going on in the box. Capaldi's got the ball on the wing. Keeper managed to hold on. It's still 3.
3-2 though, it's not a bad scoreline at all. Oxford have got the chance in this. Gateshead have taken a second goal against Dartford with Josh Gillies, should I say, getting this goal. So a couple of goals that's starting to fly in across the leagues. Seems to have picked up pace around the 60-minute mark. Didn't even have chance to ask Scotty about what he thought about the predominant 0-0 scoreline. Scotty, have you got your thoughts on that?
I actually think it comes down to different levels of finishing. I think sometimes some teams don't have as good a quality regarding when they get their shots than others. But otherwise, I think it's been exciting because I know even when it was 0-0 with Bury versus Preston, it was still an exciting back and forth battle.
Well, I should just mention, goals are flying in at Notts County now. That's 2-2. Obviously, I've reported to by Marvin. I'll give him his credit due. Jeff Hughes has scored that header 64 minutes in. So that's 2-2 there now. Goals just flying in once the first went in. The floodgates have indeed opened. And Grimsby have took the lead against Forest Green for Nathan Pond goal 63 minutes in. So the goals are creeping in the back of these nets now around the 60-minute mark. Only can tell you what we have, but let's try and hear more about this Oxford dominance that we was hearing just as they were coming back into this. Tom, are you with us?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's calmed down a bit now. They've managed to get the ball a bit Exeter, and they're managing to calm it down a bit more. But Bats won the ball back. Ball to Smalley. Oh, it's right. Come to nothing. Every time Oxford get the ball, it's different to the way they were playing the first half, because they usually go side to side, Oxford, but they've just been going straight up the pitch, doing as much as you can, putting much pressure on the defence as you can, and obviously it's paying off.
Sounds like it is indeed. Alfreton Town have took third goal for Anthony Wilson against Luton. Southport have took the lead away at Kidderminster for a Tony Gray penalty. And I do believe Notts County just had a free kick in a good position, but it was tipped over. Corner to Notts County as it stands in that 2-2. We've got text reports coming in on. So I am trying to incorporate as many teams as I possibly can at the moment, with people out there bringing me the score lines from the game itself. But there's the goals.
As it stands,
yep,
in the Blue Square Premier, my local team, Kidderminster, are dead bottom.
Yeah, they're just like I mentioned. They sadly have just started to lose against Southport.
Oh my God, Oxford have just missed a sitter. John Paul Pittman put the ball in. Smalley was like 6 yards out, and he's headed it wide.
At least there's some. Yeah. Do we have anything from the game? Preston Bury there.
Still 1-0, but in the conference, Uniten just missed the penalty.
There we go. There's an update for you. In the Notts County update, we have the corner that I mentioned that was taken too long, but a free kick was given anyway. So there we go, nothing to come of that corner I mentioned for Notts County. Let's see if we can go back to the Scotland game, see what I can bring you on that. Scotland-Serbia, of course, this afternoon. About 63 minutes in. Been another sub recently from Serbia though. Tadic has come on for Lazovic. There we go. 58 minutes that sub was made. But Levine must be thinking about making changes for Scotland as it stands to try and get anything out of this game at all. But there's about 6 minutes of this part of the show left. The goals seems to have slowed up. But I will bring you whatever I can when I get it. I'm going to try and get an update on the Rochdale game. See what I bring you on that. We're still sadly 1-0 down to Burton Albion. But it looks like we're on top from what I see. It does look like we're on top. So is a goal coming? Let's hope and pray so.
I could give you a possession stat from the Oxford game.
Please do.
Despite being 3-2 down, Oxford have had 64% possession so far.
There must be a goal coming on the back of that possession. Scotty, do we have anything from Preston Bury?
Still 1-0, sorry. But possession, it's even. It's pretty much even now. It's 51-49 in favour of Bury.
Okay. Did you have something for us, Tom?
Actually, wait.
Hang on.
There's just been another goal to Preston. It's 2-0 their way now.
go. Do we know who scored that? I guess not.
Just waiting for confirmation of who scored it.
That's fine. So, as obviously Scotty will bring that to us immediately. I apologise about the slowness of this.
Shane.
Here we go.
We have. It was Shane Cairnsdale Sheriff who was the scorer in the 65th minute. 2-0 Preston.
I will tell you that I believe he's an Australian, Scotty. He's either an Aussie or he's a New Zealander, but I think he's an Australian if I'm not mistaken. So there we are. But here we go. I apologise about the slowness of this, but this is unfortunately the speed we've got as we get live updates from the panellists. Working what I've got, guys. But couple of 5-0, well, a 5-0 and another 5 goals scored to tell you about quickly. Bradley Bubb has got his hat-trick. He'll be celebrating with a bottle of bubbly, I should think. That's 68 minutes gone, a hat-trick for him. Working 5, Nuneaton 0. Port Vale 5, Rotherham 2. Tom Pope's also secured his hat-trick. I'm guessing he's been praying to the Pope because there's his third. Southend 3, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. Ryan Cresswell has scored. That's Southend have retaken the...
Exeter have scored.
Here we go. Tom, tell us about that goal, if you could, please.
It's 4-2 to Exeter now. I'm not quite sure who scored it yet. Oxford are about to make a change. They're taking Smalley off. He does seem a bit off the pace, but Oxford are all over him. Exeter have just played the long ball forward. Got him behind, Jake Wright couldn't get near him. And I think it's O'Flynn who scored.
Yeah, I can confirm that for you. John O'Flynn scored 72nd minute, restoring Exeter's 2-goal lead.
And they just took Smalley off.
Yeah, Smalley's just come off there. In the other games though, go on.
Just 2 bits. Cairnsdale Sheriff he's from Sydney actually, so yeah, he's an Aussie. And Phil Picken has been injured for Berry, so Andre Jones has come on for him.
There we go. Thank you, Scotty, as always. Hyde have scored a third against Hereford.
Wright got a yellow card because...
There we go. Another booking for you. Phil Jevons got that third for Hyde. I apologise for keep interrupting people, but I need to bring you these goals as they come to me. Accrington Stanley have took the lead against Bradford through Padraig Armand. 73 minutes in. That's Aki Stanley winning. And Bradley Bubb has added a 4th against Nuneaton. Working 6, Nuneaton 0. 70 minutes through here. Bradley Bubb is having a game of his life, it would seem. 4 goals he's scored so far this afternoon. Absolutely ripping Nuneaton apart in the conference. But again, there's not much to tell you about other than what I'm bringing you. I'll go have a quick look at the Rochdale game, see if there's any hope of us coming back with this. Last tactical substitution from Rochdale. Ashley Grimes has come on for Jason Kennedy. Interesting substitution there. Striker for a midfielder. Obviously Jason Kennedy being the Rochdale captain. Well, not the Rochdale captain, the Rochdale main midfielder. Peter Kavanagh's the Rochdale captain, I should apologise. That's me, of course, making mistakes, like always, but there we go, that's live broadcasting. But again, it still does stand, sadly, at Rochdale 0, Burton Albion 1. Northampton have got a second goal against AFC Wimbledon. I'll bring you who that was as soon as I have it. Northampton again looking like set to pick 3 points up today at home. Something Rochdale need to do, but they are struggling with. Like I said, I will bring you that goal the second I have it. Hackett that scored the second. It is Chris Hackett. Good thing I did indeed notice. We are just coming up now to the end of this part of the show. So I will move on to part 4 very quickly. The last 30 seconds of this. So as always, I'll do my traditional thing where I thank the guests and thank the audience for listening just as we move on. About 30 seconds left, so I'll bring you anything I have just as I get it, of course. but there doesn't seem to be anything I can tell you about. Carlisle have equalised against Hartlepool, though. I will mention that. I'll get you that score the second I have it. But currently I don't, I'm afraid. But anyway, that's all we've got time for this part. So thanks for listening, and I'll bring you that score on the other part. Cheers, guys. Hi guys, we're back with the fourth and final part of today's show. Well, what should be fourth part of today's show. As always, we bring you the end of the games and the full times what I can fit in. Still no confirmation on that equaliser for Carlisle, I'm afraid. But as always, I'll endeavour to bring you it as soon as I get it. But I will just mention that there's no more goals. Just while I
The Exeter goalkeeper is having an absolute stormer in the last couple of minutes.
So Oxford on the attack, I can only assume.
The fourth goal was against Exeter's fourth was really undeserved, because ever since Oxford got the one goal back, it's been all Oxford.
Well, sadly goals win games. Hereford have pulled one back against Hyde for Ryan Bowman, 77 minutes in. And I can confirm the Carlisle equaliser was scored from Danny Cadamatri. Cadamatri. I'm going to go with. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you have Carlisle fans or anyone that knows the player. Obviously, Scottish lad, former Huddersfield last season, got released, gone to Carlisle, but my pronunciation is poor as always. But there's your equaliser. I do try, guys, I do try. But I will say that 1-1, Hartlepool 1, Carlisle 1. For anyone that may be listening and interested in that game, as I try and bring you the other results that are coming my way. Fleetwood Town has scored a third, and it's another hat-trick, and it's John Parkin's hat-trick. 76 minutes in that game, Morecambe 3-0 down to Fleetwood Town. And the goal is scored by none other than John Parkin. Many people remember him. So Fleetwood bouncing back after the penalty defeat to Rochdale midweek. Bouncing back better than and faring much better than Rochdale faring today, I will admit. Sad but true. As I still hope and pray, like all Rochdale fans will be, for this equaliser. It does not seem to be coming. But if I get it, you will get it also. Let's just hope it does come along. Scotty, have we got anything in the Bury Preston game?
Still 2-0.
Nothing new there then. There's been a red card for Hartlepool. I'm going to confirm that with you as soon as I get it, but I know Hartlepool are now down to 10 men. So that's not going to help the cause. Obviously just conceded to Carlisle. That won't help the cause whatsoever. But maybe they still can win this game. We shall see. Neil Austin is the one sent off for Hartlepool for a second bookable offence. But we're running up to about 15 minutes of these games left now. Last 15 for goals to come in.
There's a little stat here that's a bit worrying for Oxford fans. Exeter City have had 4 shots on target and scored all 4. And Oxford have had 6 shots on target, 6 shots off target, and only scored 2.
Yeah, you really need to be putting more away than that, it would seem. But that's football. Hyde have scored a 4th and restored the 2-goal lead from that man Phil Jevons, 80 minutes in once again. So Hyde looking like they're going for the 3 points today. Hyde obviously from Manchester, this is Conference Premier. But as always, things could change, things do indeed change. So let's go and see what we got on the Scotland-Serbia game, which is still 0-0. There is nothing coming from that game goal-wise. So let's take a look. Jordan Rhodes looks like he's about to come on for Scotland. But Forrest has come on for Snodgrass for Scotland. There's the change for Scotland. But Rhodes looked ready to come on. Also, Jamie Mackey was warming up last I could hear from that game for you. Again, still 0-0. Can Scotland steal a late winner though? It'd be good for them, but can they do it? That's what's still yet to be answered. About 10 minutes left in that game. I think we've got a 6 is that 6-2 now? Tom Pope, I believe, scored. I'm not too sure.
Oxford are down to 10 men.
What's happened there then, Tom?
No one's quite sure what the second yellow's been given for. But I can't even see what's wrong there. But Bino's been caught with something on.
So is that Constable
But
sent off?
there's something off the ball, and it's a second yellow for Bino and James Constable sent off.
Does not look like Oxford's day at all. Bit of confusion to what that is. We'll try and bring you what happened when we have it. But all we can tell you is James Constable, aka Bino, has been sent off for Oxford. Second bookable offence. Barrow have retaken the lead against Tamworth in the 79th minute from Adam Boy's goal. That's now 2-1 to Barrow away at Tamworth. That'll be a credible result for them if they can hold on for it. Let's just see what happens. And Port Vale's 6th was indeed scored by Tom Pope, so I believe he has also scored 4 goals today.
Oxford are still all over Exeter though since the red card. But obviously, Alfie Potter's just had a shot on wide, and that seems to be the problem. Not getting the shots on target.
Not all over yet then, perhaps. Maybe there's something still.
It's not over yet. By a long shot.
Bradford have equalised
All it
against
takes is
Accrington.
1 goal, 4-3, bit of panic.
Exactly. Still in the shout, just like Rochdale are. Bradford have equalised away at Accrington Stanley though. Alan Connell, 83 minutes in there. Accrington Stanley 1, Bradford 1. And it seems like Rochdale are going to lose again when I cover it on this game. There's still time yet. We're still 1-0 down to that Peterson goal in the 52nd minute. Hopefully there's an equaliser at least coming, because it'd be a shocking result to go 1-0 down to Burton at home. One that'll leave many fans disappointed. But there's still time. Just confirming that Bradford equaliser for you. Obviously former Rochdale player Gary Jones now playing for Bradford. Maybe he was involved in that goal, I'm not too sure. When I have something you'll know too. Is all I can say. But, still on. Hereford are now losing 5-2 to Hyde. And guess what? It's yet another hat-trick today. And it's that man, Phil Jevons, has claimed his hat-trick 84 minutes in. That's something I will say. There's been quite a few hat-tricks in the lower leagues today. But Ecclesfield United 3, Mansfield 1. Liam Enver Marum penalty, 81 minutes in for Ecclesfield. So there's that. I'm going to go and try and dig what I can on this red card, unless Tom's got any more news for us on it.
Honestly, I still don't know what that red card was for. I don't know what. They haven't showed a replay. I don't know what happened, but that's it. Red card. Can't really do much about it. Just kick on, and hopefully try and score. It's been a bit more even now since the last update.
Game seems to have evened out as Tom was bringing you. Scotty, do we have anything new on the Bury Preston game?
It's still 2-0, but there's nothing really apart from the fact that it has been a very physical game so far. And it's been 2 yellow cards to both teams. Possession is 50-50.
There we go. Right down the middle, I'd say. I believe
apparently there has been no replay on the red card because no cameras in the ground captured the red card. Captured the incident, which is a bit weird.
Even more suspicious, the referee's seen something. That'll be something to watch later tonight on the football show, I'll tell you. Carlisle have scored a second goal. They've taken the lead 85 minutes in against Hartlepool for a Matt Robson goal. Cambridge United have pulled one back against Wrexham, although it looks lost. But that's a Josh Coulson goal, 84 minutes in. Sheffield United have equalised against Scunthorpe through Neil Collins, 83 minutes in. And Fleetwood Town have piled on the misery against Morecambe with a fourth goal through Barry Nicholson, 84 minutes in. Macclesfield have taken the lead against Braintree Town. Matthew Barnes Holmes converted a penalty, 85 minutes in. So let's see what we can keep up with. Scores are going to start to come in full times. I've still got all my heart resting on Rochdale, I must admit. My heart is in my mouth right now. I really want some out of this game. I'd be distraught if we can't. But still some time left yet. I know I sound like I'm repeating myself constantly, but when you're a Rochdale fan, you'll realise. I'm sure Tom can agree with me here. When you're a lower league fan, it's quite often your heart's in your mouth in these kind of games, because they do go 50-50 either way quite a lot, don't they? So I'm sure you can back me up on that. If he's
proper, really hoping that something comes of the next few minutes. Now would be the perfect time to get a goal back.
We can only hope, guys. We can only hope. But we're coming to about 5 minutes left in today's games. Nothing new to tell you about. I must apologise. It's not like me to be not talking for 5 minutes, but there is literally nothing new to bring you. So I'm going to have a quick look at Rochdale and see if we do look like getting back into this game. We're about 81 minutes there from what I can see, but it does look like Rochdale are in the dominance. But I will look and tell you that George Donnelly has come on for Ray Pewter-Hill. Peter Kavanagh has been booked for unsportsmanlike behaviour. So we brought on the two attackers from the bench, and we've had a booking. That's basically Rochdale's highlights of this afternoon so far. Notts County lead against Shrewsbury 3-2, and the scorer, as much as it pains me to say it, for my displeasure for the player, is none other than Lee Hughes. Obviously some people will know Lee Hughes for his previous flirting with jail and his previous jail time, etc. Not a big fan of Lee Hughes, I must admit.
Remember Lee Hughes very well.
Yep. I'm surprised to see him playing because I'm sure he's been charged with rape recently. But apparently he isn't Ched Evans. But I will bring you another goal. In Wrexham 4, Cambridge United 1. Danny Wright has added a fourth for Wrexham. And I believe there's been another red card for Sheffield United. I can't confirm that at the moment, but I do believe Sheffield United are down to 9 men. And they are still drawing with Scunthorpe. Obviously Scunthorpe, disastrous start this season in League 1. So a point would probably be a credible result against Sheffield United. But as always, we shall see what happens. Marvin with a live update on that, telling us that. But I'll try and find out what the goal was like for Lee Hughes. But yeah, Notts County are leading 3-2. AFC Telford have equalised against Lincoln City. That's Phil Trainer, 87 minutes in. Not much more to tell you about. Again, goals slowly coming in. Let's take a look back at the Scotland game. Keep balancing my time between these two this afternoon. Bringing you what I can as always. Scotland have brought on Jamie Mackey for James Morrison and Jordan Rhodes for Miller. And that's a double change from Scotland as they look to steal this. But Serbia made the final change, bringing Lekic on for Djurjevic. Kidderminster have equalised against Southport. There we go. Tom, your local, have pulled a goal back. That's 2-2. Anthony Malbon, 88 minutes in. So Kidderminster maybe stolen a point here. Bit of time still left in this game. But I can tell you, Brentford have finally taken the lead against Colchester. Farid El Agouri, or El Aguai, whatever you want to pronounce that. 88 minutes in. Brentford have taken the lead. Colchester is the main thing. But Arquin did some great work down the wing for Notts County, providing a tap-in for Lee Hughes for County's third. There's your text update from Marvin. So there we go. Notts County look like taking 3 points unless there's a response coming. But still, we're nearly entering 90th minute here. Hoping and praying Rochdale can come up with something. It does not look likely, it seems, at the moment, though. Not at all. But Couple of standout results in League 2 so far. Port Vale 6, Rotherham 2 is an excellent result. As it stands, that is. Fleetwood 4-0 away at Morecambe. Looks a credible result. It'd take Fleetwood to 4th. Torquay Plymouth being 0-0 is quite interesting. Torquay are a good side. Plymouth have had the troubles of late. Chesterfield barely winning away at York City, but York City had quite an interesting start. 7 points on the board for them. Taking a look at League 1, what can we see there? Not many goals in League 1, but not as many goals, should I say. But we've still got Preston beating Bury 2-0 away. Scotty, anything more on that though? If you're still with us.
Bury had another shot which was off target. Both teams have taken the same amount of shots and had the same amount of possession, but it's been one of those, one team has the momentum and then the other team takes the momentum off them. So it's been one of those even games, but Preston have been able to make the most of the opportunities they've had.
There we go. Commentary from Scotty as always. But 4 minutes added on the Notts County Shrewsbury game, and Shrewsbury have a free kick. So what can be done with that? Torquay Plymouth has finished 0-0 in the first full time of the afternoon, and Newport County has finished 0-0 with Stockport. So the results are starting to come in if there's going to be any late goals this afternoon. It sadly doesn't look like there's going to be, but there always could be still. Gateshead full time have won 2-0 against Dartford as a full time. Slowly starting to creep in. Bristol Rovers have scored a last gasp equaliser against Aldershot. Fabian Broghammer, interesting name there. Bristol Rovers 2, Aldershot 2. That's the 90th minute goal. Is there more goals to come, or does that look like they've stole a point? Only time will tell, as always. We'll bring that with you as soon as we get it. But that's 2-2 now in League 2. That looks like it's heading for a draw. Accrington Stanley 1, Bradford 1's a full time now. So, credible point. Hyde have beaten Hereford 5-2 in the Blue Square Premier. And Scotland-Serbia has finished 0-0. So, both teams failing to make an impact, and a point to start off both teams' campaigns. Not the worst result I've ever seen from Scotland, but a 3 points would have been very great for them to see there. But a 0-0. No goals in that game. Workington 2, Corby 3, full time. Here's one for you. Maidenhead United 8, Truro City 0. Incredible result from Blue Square South there. Truro City have had a terrible day away in Maidenhead. Atherton Town 3, Luton 0 is full time there in Blue Square Premier. Goals are starting to come in. Nothing seems to have come from that free kick from Shrewsbury. The text reports from Marvin, but full times are creeping in now. I'll bring you what full times we've got when we've got them. But we're still waiting for goals or anything else I'll tell you about. But I'll just have a look at Rochdale again. Obviously we're near the end of the game now. Let's see if there's any chance at all we can get the winner here. Well, not the winner, the equaliser it would be. Notts County Shrewsbury has finished 3-2. So Notts County have beaten Shrewsbury just. Port Vale has finished 6-2 against Rotherham at home. Cambridge United have lost 4-1 away to Cambridge United. Sorry, Wrexham have won 4-1 away. Kidderminster have drew 2-2 with Southport full time. Working have won. They've not won yet. Nuneaton have pulled one back. Nuneaton have scored. That's 6-1 to Working now. Andy Brown. Grimsby have beat Forest Green 1-0.
Full time.
We have full time from Oxford, and they've sadly gone down 4-2 today to Exeter. But Northampton have won 2-0 against AFC Wimbledon full time. Working Nuneaton is now full time. Morecambe 0, Fleetwood Town 4 is full time. Southend 3, Dagenham Red is full time, and Barrow have won the game 3-1 it seems. Adam Bowes scoring another goal in the 90th minute. Crewe 0, Tranmere 0. There we go.
Late goal skip by Bury. It's now 1-2.
There we
John
go.
Scars was the scorer from a corner.
There we go. Crewe 0, Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1, Carlisle 2, Welling 3, Stainstown 2, Macclesfield 2, Braintree Town 1, are all full times. Can Bury steal a very dramatic late equaliser at home to Preston? We'll find out, but it's now 2-1 to Preston there. Obviously Bury pulling one back very late on. We'll wait for more full times to bring them to you. We're not far off now, it would seem. About 10 minutes left of this show. So I'll bring you what I can as always in those 10 minutes. But as much as I'd love a Rochdale equaliser right now, I do not see it coming. As it pains me to think. Brentford 1, Colchester 0, and yes, full time, Rochdale 0, Burton Albion 1. Poor result at Scotland today. Bristol Rovers 2, Aldershot 2, Wycombe 1, Cheltenham 1, Teignmouth 1, Barrow 3, Ecclesfield United 3, Mansfield 1, Histon 1, Harrogate Town 3. Is your more full times. Absolutely heartbroken about Rochdale's result today. 3 points today would have really kicked us on in the season, but it's not to be. York 2, Chesterfield 2, 90th minute equaliser for York, Jason Walker. Chesterfield aren't taking all 3 points today, it seems. And that's finished full time now. York did indeed steal a point at the death. Chesterfield have been denied again. Just desserts really, as they denied Rochdale of all 3 not so long ago. The last minute equaliser. Funny old game is football. Scunthorpe and Sheffield United has finished 1-1 full time. Scunthorpe a good result. Sheffield United would have wanted more. But there's full time in that game for you. Are we anything near full time, Scotty?
Yeah, 2-1. Preston beat Bury.
There we go. Barnet have lost 3-1 to Gillingham full time. Gillingham picking up 3 more points away on the road that stuck them to top of the league. So a very good start from Gillingham. A very good start indeed. Rochdale have fell to 17th. Now a point behind Burton Albion on today's results as they stand. Sad. With Plymouth, Wycombe, Aldershot, Wimbledon, Dagenham, Redbridge, Bristol Rovers and Barnet underneath us. Leyton Orient have beat Swindon 1-0 full time. Good result there from Leyton Orient. Swindon have lost twice in a week now, both 1-0. Not been a good week for Paolo Di Canio. Salisbury have won 1-0 against Eastbourne Borough. Droylsden have gone down 4-2 to Sohill Moors. More goals is there, more full times. Leyton Orient look very happy with that 3 points. Matt just posting obviously confirmed that 2-0 to Northampton's a full time score. Bournemouth have beat Yeovil just 1-0, that's full time. So sad for Yeovil fans. Must mention that Matt Harris is the one that's told us about the Northampton scoreline, but I believe we already knew that, but there we are. Northampton have won today, and that's took them, I will tell you. With that win, Northampton have gone to 8th, just outside playoffs in League 2. But we're about just over under 7 minutes of the show left, so we should have enough time today to get everything in. As the game just all basically coming to a halt now, so I should have enough time to go through score lines. We're waiting on more full times, but Tom, what can you tell us about the full time Oxford game then? Walsall 1, MK Dons 0 full time. What can you tell us about Oxford today?
First off was, I'd say, poor. There was no one getting in the box, no one getting forward. There was good play out wide, but nothing apart from that. Second half a bit better. The referee was an absolute joke all match, and still don't know what that red card was for. And Oxford's main problem still is getting caught on the break, which they need to really sort out, because that's when you're playing a pushing game up the pitch, you've really got to make sure that you know how to defend on the break.
Very true. Scotty, what can you tell us in a full-time report in the Preston Bury game?
It was a good, tough game. Ended up 1-6 Preston, but it was an exciting contest to watch.
go. So, interesting game it seems, but Bury have lost 2-1 to Preston. Really struggling so far, it would seem. Right, the full times seem to basically all come in now, so I'll go through the results. Starting the World Cup qualifying Group 1, Scotland drew 0-0 with Serbia. Scotland joint third really with Serbia on 1 point. Belgium and Croatia both winning yesterday, and Macedonia and Wales both losing. So not the worst start from Scotland. In League 1, Brentford 1, Colchester 0. Bury 1, Preston 2. Crewe 0, Tranmere 0. Doncaster and Oldham was postponed due to international call-ups. Hartlepool 1, Carlisle 2. Notts County 3, Shrewsbury 2. Scunthorpe 1, Sheffield United 1. Swindon 0, Leyton Orient 1 is another. Special on lower league. Tom, I believe you can give us something on that red card for James Constable.
The manager's not quite sure what it's been given for either. Apparently the fourth official alerted the referee to James Constable kicking out off the ball, which obviously probably would have been a straight red anyway, because you don't kick out of the ball, but other people are saying that he didn't really do anything, and they can't really see what the fourth official has apparently seen, so at the moment it's not quite sure still what it's been given for, but it might be for Bino kicking out off the ball.
Well, if they can't get a definite answer, that could be rescinded. But I will see. We'll see what happens with that. But that's really the majority of the major games, I should say. Sorry, not really major, but lower league and conference. I could be here telling you all day of every single scoreline and every single goal that's gone in, but I'm afraid we wouldn't have time to do that. We're on the last minute of today's show. But as always, thanks to Tom. Covered the Oxford next game for us. Result didn't go our way, but thanks again, Tom.
It's a pleasure.
And it's always a pleasure to have you. And Scotty, thanks for covering the Bury versus Preston game for us.
No worries.
Always good to have you on. So again, thanks to both my guests. Some decent results out there, some sad results out there. And thanks to anyone listening out there, as always. I'm glad that I managed to get this in today. Because it is a bit confusing at the moment when I can do a show and when I can't, of various things. But glad I managed to get it in, glad I managed to get everyone on. And as a closing thought, thanks for listening, guys. That's all we've got time for.